Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new replay commentary called Adventures from Live League, where I am going to be covering some of my games in the Live League on Advanced Wars by Web. So if you don't know what the Live League is, in the Advanced Wars by Web Discord, there is a subsection where you can join a live league run by a few of the players. And generally what it is you join and then you get paired up against a player of hopefully relatively equal skill to you, and then you get to play a live game against them. So it's up to the players to actually set those games up and determine a time where you can play. Usually you have about a week or so to actually get that match done. So this is actually my third match in the live league. I lost the first two because I was up against some pretty strong players. Didn't go too well for me. But I actually just downloaded the brand new replay viewer for Advanced Wars by Web, which looks fantastic. So I figured I would, start. So this week I got paired up against a player called Billybones. Very nice guy. Had a little chat with him, so it's pretty cool. He decided to pick Eagle for this match, and I decided to pick Olaf. So Olaf, he's unaffected by snow, but when it rains, it's like snow. So, don't let it rain. All these matches are usually done with clear weather, so you don't have to worry about it too much. His co-power will do... Or his co-power is Blizzard, which will just make it snow, so it's very effective for him. Super co-power is what makes Olaf pretty good. It is global damage all around the map too, and it also makes it snow. So, good stuff all around. Santa Claus be damned. My opponent has picked Eagle, and Eagle's air units get 15% attack and plus 10% defense and consume 2 less fuel per day, and his naval units lose 30% attack. Now, Eagle has 2 powers. The first one is Lightning Drive, I believe. So Lightning Drive just gives your air units like a boost to firepower and defense, I think. Nobody ever uses Lightning Drive, so you don't really have to worry about it. Everybody picks Eagle for his super co-power, which is Lightning Strike, which allows your vehicle units to move a second time. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. I think I covered Eagle in one of my live games before, showing how good it can be. So yes, very, very good. All right, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this one. So what we have here are standard infantry builds. Beautiful. So in the first few days, there is not really too much going on. Infantry are just moving out to capture properties. A few infantry moving over here, some moving over here. I'm moving one of mine into the center because I feel like this is going to be a very contested spot. So I figured it'd be a good place to go. Alright, so Billybones has opened up with a tank on the western front, which is pretty good. It'd be able to start an early harassment over these properties here. Now, the way that he has his infantry set up here is he can either interrupt a cap here or begin the cap here. So, depending on what I do... Yeah, okay. So I knew he'd be able to interrupt this if he actually went for it, so I decided to do the safe bet and just cap this property right here. Begin capping in the center, and got a couple other properties being capped all around. So Billy doesn't go for this property, he goes for this one right here, which is a good move. His tank is now ready to interrupt a cap on this property, so that is good for him. Good for him, bad for me. And aside from that, I opened up a tank on the opposite side as well, but off of the other property. So we'll see what I can do with that tank. Now let's see what Billy ends up doing on this turn. So he interrupts this cap. Which is unfortunate for me because he actually got this property here. So that is going to leave me a little bit behind when it comes to properties later. Now, this property is pretty close to this base and this airport, so it'd be difficult for him to continuously stop that cap. But we'll see what happens. So I did get this property. But but then he planted a tank on top of it, which is kind of unfortunate. I go to interrupt this one right here. And he does, you know, it does 5 damage, but he heals 2 off of it. I end up bringing my units back over here and begin capturing these 2 properties, kind of defending those guys. Because I definitely want those, and I got a bunch of caps going on in the back. Billy has chosen to go sort of a different route than I did. He's sending most of his forces over here. And not really in the back lines just yet. So, yeah, a little bit of difference in play right there, but we're both capturing the airport relatively on the same day. So I'm going to let this turn play out. We're going to see. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, so he does build an artillery unit over there on the western front too, so he's going to start backing that up with a couple indirect units. We can see that I've gone ahead and capped all the properties that I began capping, so now I'm sitting at like 1900 funds, which is okay. I did build an artillery unit of my own, and just sort of positioning all my infantry to guard that one unit, sending my tank back because I felt like he was going to pop that infantry right there and get a hit on that tank, which I didn't want. I built an early anti-air in this one too because, I mean, Eagle air units, obviously. So I wanted to not let that happen. I ended up losing that property that I capped earlier, so that was very sad for me. But, you know, I got some funds out of it, so that was okay. It put me ahead for a little while. So this is, yeah, this is cool. So he's not going here in the middle. He's actually pushing a lot of his units over to the western front here from those 2 properties. So it's kind of forcing me to make a decision. I can defend my HQ, or I can move these guys over here to get this. Because I think what his initial plan was, is he wanted to push all these guys here and take these 2 properties from me. Now, the only problem with that is, well, he built a battlecopter on this side, so he didn't actually really have the funds to build an anti-air over here. Now, if he was able to build an anti-air over here, probably maybe like a turn ago or something, I would say like a little bit earlier, he would be able to push that anti-air up here, which would pretty much negate any battlecopters I would be able to send from this airport right here. But as it stands right now, is I could actually pump out a battlecopter a turn, at least for like 1 or 2 turns, and completely stop this push. Just with that, at least until an anti-air comes there, and by that time I would be able to get these tanks and this artillery into position to hopefully defend a little bit more. But you know, we're gonna see what happens. We will see what happens. That's half the fun of it, right? So yeah, I just decide to say, like, you know, F it. And I send my tanks over here by my HQ. And I actually go in and take a couple shots. Because there's one thing that you don't want to let Eagle do. It is just sit there and build up a lot of forces. So I know pretty much the only chance that I have against an Eagle is to just quickly take out his infantry wall so that I can actually attack his vehicles. So this is actually one of the cool things here. Okay, so I'm just going to stop that. So the way that Billybones went up, or decided to go about this match, it actually led him to capping these 2 properties together. Which, when I did it, I only capped this property here. So that means that once I cap this property and he caps those, this one is still going to be contested, so there could be some fighting that actually happens over that one. He's moving his artillery unit in position to take shots at my tanks too, which is me basically forcing me to move, which is not good for me, but he is moving all of his units over too. Yeah, so he's planning on, well, now he's planning on pushing that HQ, or at least threatening it quite a bit. And day 11 rolls around, so let's see what my response to all this is. I finished capping the property in the center, begin capping my last two properties, move my battlecopter down because I can finally start harassing, taking some shots. So now that I have that battlecopter there, and he actually decided not to build an anti-air, whether it be because he didn't have funds. Yeah, it was because he didn't have funds. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. He decided to build the second battlecopter instead of an anti-air. But now I have a battlecopter over there that's just going to be able to harass him as much as I want. And I move my anti-air in the center of all of my units, using the mountain as cover. And I begin deathballing myself over there in the eastern front. Okay, let's see what Billy's got here. Alright, so he's decided to send his battlecopter over to the western side, which is, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a good move for sure, because I have the anti-air over there on the eastern front. It's just gonna take a little while for it to get over there. Not a bad move though. I mean, reinforcing that side with battlecopters just kind of makes it so you have to, well, your initial plans kind of go out the window when somebody does something like that, because now you have to think of a way to counter the battlecopters are eventually coming, right? But they're also in a position right now where they can still defend this area here. Oh! Yeah, so now he's got 3. So if your opponent has 3 battlecopters and you only have 1 anti-air, you might want to consider buying another anti-air as well. Because that would basically be 2 days of, well, I mean, 3 days of battlecopter spam or harassment that would happen to you. And considering the amount of vehicles that I have, if he actually pushed with all this right now, it is possible that this line would fall. We'll see. Okay. Alright, so I just kind of say, like, you know, F it, and I am going to try to push that HQ. Okay, so in hindsight here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this artillery unit that went right here, it's good that it can defend these guys, but if I put it right here, I would have been able to start threatening that HQ. So putting it right here might have been a good idea. But then it would have been able to take chip damage from this guy right here. And I didn't know what his plan was there. So that's why I decided to do that at least. Like I said, this is live league, so you just gotta, like, make your thoughts as quickly as you can. Make your moves. You can think about it later. Alright, so I moved my infantry over there knowing it can get hit by that artillery unit as well, but, you know, it had to be done. He finally built that anti-air on the western front, so now those battlecopters are not going to be able to harass that much longer. This is a very congested map too. Definitely a lot of choke points. Okay, so this is cool. He moved his 2 artillery units in position to block off that front line over here, which is a good play. Because now he's got defense all the way up to my tank line, which means I can't put anything right there to defend against them. Yes, so that's good. Okay, so this is the turn that I had to completely, like, rethink everything, because he built a rocket this turn. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to push it if he's got a rocket there. This is a problem. Now, how can I solve this problem? But I knew at least I had 1 turn before the rocket could attack me. So that's good. Now, I was able to freely take a couple shots over there on the east side, too, just because he's got nothing that can really do any damage. So that's cool. I moved my anti-air in the center to defend pretty much almost everything that I have. But I built a rocket of my own, because I know that, well, if he's got a rocket over there, then I have to build a rocket. I mean, I can't just let him sit there willy-nilly with his own rocket while I have nothing. Oh yeah, okay. Hold on. Stop. Okay, let me just go back a turn. Okay. Okay, so live league. I know I said okay a bunch of times, sorry guys. Alright. So this battlecopter right here, I completely forgot to move it. And I thought I did, but I didn't. Which is really bad. Really, really bad. Yeah, like, frick, man. Live league, right? Trying to do your turns quickly, and then sometimes you forget to do something. You know what I'm gonna do, though? Is if I play live league again, if I ever get, like, gray or black hole or something, I'm gonna change my country color. That way I can definitely tell when things are moved or not. There is also that icon over on the side that tells you, like, you know, you have units left to move. So that might be a good idea just to click on that a couple times, but yeah, no, that was just a mistake on my end. Like, I shouldn't have lost that battlecopter at all. Excuse me. See, and that just, like, opened me up to get heavily damaged. Heavily damaged. Unfortunate. Yeah, so he's pushing up pretty hard now. He's got like a hugely overwhelming force right there too. Now the question is, what do I do to stop that? I guess we'll find out. Oh, and he built a bomber, cool. Yeah, I remember that bomber coming into play. So, alright, so I moved my infantry back, take a shot with the tank. I have to readjust all these units here. I take a shot at the battlecopter because I have to get it out of there. I mean, it's gotta happen. But, you know, not much you can do, but you really just gotta keep up the pressure if you can. Because if one side's getting overwhelmed, then you have to do your best to overwhelm the other side too. But I do shimmy some of my units around and sort of do a little bit of threatening movements. Move some tanks in the center, right? So hopefully that'll be okay. And that bomber's flying in. Yeah, and I built an anti-air and a battlecopter over on the western front too, which is good because I definitely needed them. Yeah, so it's looking okay. So it's looking pretty bad over here on the western front. But mind you, I just got my super co-power, right? So I am gonna be able to do some global damage all over the place. And if there's one thing that anybody hates in this game, it is getting hit by global damage. It is not fun. It's fun to do, not fun to get hit by it. Alright. So I activate Winter Fury. Actually, let's go back there. So 144,500 total value. It's taken down to 113,000. Good. Okay, we're gonna see what kind of a counter attack that I can muster from that. Now the silly thing is I know that he's got lightning strikes, so I pushed a lot of my units up like a little bit too far too. And even if he's got a slower mobility, I mean he's still got a bunch of units up there, so it's going to be unfortunate. But I am planning on taking one of his cities in the center there, if you can't see that. And the cool thing is we're equal in properties right now. So if I do manage to take that city, then that'll put me at a little bit of an advantage, which will be nice. And any advantage that you can really get is good. I mean, you can get the advantage to take it. Yeah, mostly just a lot of slow movements going around due to the snow. So, Billybones, Mr. Eagle, does actually have his super co-power now. So we're going to see if he pops it. Pretty sure he does. Yeah, there's lightning strike right there. Beautiful. I think he moved that bomber actually out of range of the anti-air too, which is pretty good. I think he forgot to buy his units first before he did his lightning strike too. So the one thing that's tricky if you're ever playing the live league is if you pick Eagle, you have to understand one really important thing, and it's that you are on a timer. So by using lightning strike, you're essentially using 2 turns at once. So it makes it so your time goes down really quick. So one thing to be mindful of if you ever pick Eagle in Live League is that you gotta watch your timer. Do your turns really fast. Alrighty, so day 16. And that rocket is doing some dirty work, that's for sure. And the entire map looks so messy right now just because there's so many injured units. It's a dangerous game. I did manage to take that city though, so technically I'm in the league when it comes to, or lead when it comes to properties at least. Usually all these matches do have a day limit too of around 30. So you have to make sure that if your game is lasting a long time that you are definitely ahead on properties when it comes to day 30. Alright, so day 17. I'm gonna see what happens on this turn. So my rocket interrupts the cap. My battlecopter interrupts the cap. Tank moving in. Yeah, just cleaning up all the units that are just sitting around my HQ because they gotta go. They gotta get out of here. I can't be having that stuff. Ah, I was hoping to get like 1 point of damage there. It didn't work. Oh well. You can't win them all. Can't win them all, that's for sure. Alright, so I am expecting to get some hefty retaliation when it comes to those battlecopters being pushed so far. But I figured if I have 3, it might be okay. Yeah. Plus, the more battlecopters of mine he destroys, the sooner I get my Winter Fury also. So, it's gonna be good that way also. But if you can prevent yourself from losing units, you might as well, because it's never a good thing. You definitely don't want to lose them. Alright, so yeah, he's backed up a little bit near my HQ. He doesn't really want a lot of those guys getting hit. And I've pretty much backed away from his HQ too. Like, both of our pushes sort of failed, unfortunately. But that's okay. This game is far from over. And I moved my bomber over to start defending that area, because as long as I can get rid of those anti-airs with my indirects and my tank, the bomber's got free reign, right? And his bomber, I don't think that it's really hit like too many valuable targets so far this match, so I didn't really have to worry about it too much. Day 18 rolls around, and we're gonna see what happens now. So he moves a rocket on the HQ too. That's cool. So a rocket on the HQ, while it's got like little defense, the fact that it can just hit everything in range is just super good. Oh yeah, okay, so what's gonna happen right now is actually Billybones ends up running out of time on this turn. Unfortunately for him. So that ended up actually making me the winner of the game, because if somebody gets booted when it comes to time, the other player wins. Okay, so this push right here is looking pretty devastating, right? He's gotten pretty far into my territory. But the thing to keep in mind is I have Winter Fury. Like, it's going to be charged in 1 hit. And then I have this bomber, I have this tank, I have this rocket still, and I have this anti-air unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So the only thing that I would have to do to repel this one, pop my Winter Fury, move this infantry over here, do a little bit of chip damage to this guy with this. Attack. Actually, I think I would go battlecopter to this, tank to this, bomber to this guy, anti-air to this, and then the rocket would attack this tank right here. Oh yeah, there's this guy right here. Rocket to this. How would I do this? Okay. I think I would do... think I would be forced to attack this with the battlecopter. Oh wait, you know what? After Winter Fury is done, this would be taken down to pretty much 1 HP, so that would be able to be taken out by this infantry. So the infantry would attack this. This guy would attack... You know, this... Oh, you know what? This guy could do that. Sorry, I'm thinking too much. There's definitely a way to get through this, though. Bomber would be able to attack this. I could two-prong attack this guy. Anti-air would be able to take out the bomber. And then everything would be good over here. The anti-air would probably get hit by this tank, but like this initial force would be pretty much gone. And on this side, I probably wouldn't really move anything. I would just kind of keep them there. Start rebuilding that. So in general, I was going to be able to do quite a hefty counterattack over here. But there would be a lightning strike coming up in a few turns after that. And my plan for that was I was hopefully just going to use a blizzard for it. But, you know, unfortunately we ran out of time. But that's the match that I have for you today. So it was pretty cool, pretty fun. So, you know what? Put down in the comments who you think was actually going to win that game by the end of it. Because I'm a little biased, but I think I might have had it. But, you know, games are unpredictable sometimes. But it was a lot of fun. So I want to thank Billy for playing. Because, you know, he was a great guy. And, you know, I like chatting with him. He was okay. Actually, cool thing is I just got paired against Billy again, so there might be another match against Billy pretty soon. Alright, well in the meantime, this has been Adventures from Live League. Mr. Cannon here signing off, aka Semi-Original Guy. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye.